The Seattle Seahawks will host the Los Angeles Rams on Thursday Night Football, December 15th, in Week 15 NFL action. With Arizona's loss on Sunday to Miami, the Seahawks can effectively lock up the NFC West crown and move back into second place, at least temporarily in the conference. Oddsmakers are clearly expecting that result, as the Seahawks are 2-touchdown favorites in early week betting action. With the atrocious home loss to the Atlanta Falcons, the Rams dropped to 4-9 on the season, and they are 4-7-2 against the spread depending on the numbers you have gotten throughout the season. Jeff Fisher will not make it to 7-9 in all likelihood, but his job is already safe given the contract extension that he recently received. The first-year audition for first overall draft pick Jared Goff is not going well. It isn't entirely his fault, as the kid from Cal is not exactly set up for success. Todd Gurley is the team's top skilled player, and he has averaged just 3.3 yards per carry this season. Between the opposition loading the box with no fear for Case Keenum and Jared Goff and some bad offensive line play, Gurley just hasn't found many holes. Goff has completed 55.1% of his throws with more interceptions than touchdowns in his first few games. Kenny Britt is the brightest apple in a spoiled bunch, with 63 receptions for 937 yards. The Rams' offense has managed 14.9 points per game, with just 4.9 yards per play, which rates among the worst in the NFL. On defense, the Rams are doing everything that they can to stay in games. There's a lot of talent on the defensive line, so winning at the point of attack has given the team a chance to keep games close and even pull out a couple wins here and there. Los Angeles has allowed 23.4 points per game on the season and a respectable 5.4 yards per play. This unit has played a lot of snaps and has been put in a lot of bad spots with a team that ranks 30th in turnover margin. In 3 division games this season, the Rams have held the opposition to under 15 points per game and less than 350 yards per contest. That includes the 9-3 win over the Seattle Seahawks way back in Week 2. The Seattle Seahawks look like a team that lacked motivation on Sunday, and they paid dearly for it in a blowout loss to the Packers. Seattle was road chalk in a game and lost by 28 points. The Seahawks are on a short week with plenty of motivation to erase the memory of Sunday's shell-shacking at Lambeau Field. If they win, they can lock up the NFC West title effectively. The Seahawks are 8-4-1 straight up and 6-6-1 against the number, depending on the lines you have played throughout the season. Seattle has not lost consecutive games against the spread this season, based off the closing numbers. The Seahawks tied the Cardinals earlier this season and lost to the Rams, so they don't have the tiebreaker right now, but they play the 49ers, so that will be the other win that they need. In this bounce-back spot, look for Russell Wilson to have a big game. The Seahawks are looking for some consistency on offense, and it all starts with number 3. Russell Wilson threw 5 interceptions against Green Bay, so the offensive coaching staff and Pete Carroll will make some adjustments in order to give him some confidence. Wilson now has just a 13-10 touchdown interception ratio. He's completed 64.6% of his passes to his own team members. Thomas Rawls has averaged 4.1 yards per pop since he returned to the lineup. Doug Baldwin and Jimmy Graham have combined for over 130 receptions as Wilson's top 2 targets. The biggest thing for Seattle this year has been offensive line play. They'll need to fix some things against the Rams because Los Angeles' best position group is likely the defensive line. The Seahawks defense was not great on Sunday, but 5 Wilson interceptions will make any defense look bad. The loss of Earl Thomas is still significant, but the team played a full game without him and now can make adjustments on a short week. The Seahawks front is ferocious with just 3.5 yards per carry allowed. The secondary still has plenty of playmakers even without Thomas. They may not be the same Seahawks defense though. They have allowed a very strong 17.8 points per game, but opposing quarterbacks have completed 61.8% of their passes, which seems extremely high for a defense of this caliber. Fortunately, this week's opponent is Jared Goff, so that number should improve. The Seahawks are upset with last week's performance, so there's only one way to go in this game. It was a game that shouldn't sway your opinion on the team because it was a bad spot in cold weather with a very manageable schedule on the horizon. But they certainly didn't expect to play that poorly. As a result, somebody will have to feel the frustration coming out, and that will probably be the Rams. Maybe there are simply bigger problems with the Seahawks, and they aren't a team capable of covering a big number like this one. But the Rams have to prove that they can hang in a game. Our pick and prediction is for the Seattle Seahawks at minus 15 points.